Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Ashe updated complete guide. Now of course, as usual, before we really jump into it, don't forget to check out Ashe's basic guide that I will link up in the cards above for her skills, living order, tips and tricks, as well as some combos. So I have been testing out different Ashe builds pretty extensively. Of course, you guys have seen the on-hit one, you guys have even seen the support Ashe, but of course I haven't yet covered the crit Ashe. So now let's actually get into it. So you will notice immediately that there is a kind of weird item in here, which is Phantom Dancer. Now Phantom Dancer pretty much has fallen out of grace for majority of the ADCs, for including like other items like Essence Reaver is kind of the same situation. So rarely do people ever build Phantom Dancer, but after trying out a lot of items and loadouts and runes, I found that the best way to go about it is going for press the attack, which is not going to give you very much attack speed, but instead getting attack speed from your items as well as your Q. So first up, of course, we're going to start with the Gluttonous Greaves to give us the AD and the Omnivamp, no surprise there. And also no surprise, his first item, Bloodthirster, for the high amounts of AD, physical vamp, and of course all the good stats when you're high in health. Now, Ruinous Hurricane, second item, also very logical, allows you to attack 3 people at the same time, applying your slow onto 3 people, and it's just really good. So now this is where the funny business comes in, which is Phantom Dancer. So Phantom Dancer gives you 25 AD, not a whole lot of AD, but not negligible as well. Of course, you get crit, you get 30% attack speed, as well as getting another 25% extra attack speed when you stack it up to 4 stacks, as well as giving you 7% extra bonus movement speed. Now, of course, we know Ashe loves movement speed because it allows you to either run away from people or run people down. So now your last 2 items are interchangeable depending on what you need. Of course, you can go for more reminder for the armor pen as well as the grievous wounds, and IE of course for the AD as well as the bonus damage. Of course, with Ashe she doesn't crit, but you are going to do bonus damage regardless. So you can of course swap the order around if necessary. If you don't really need to go for more reminder early, then you could go for IE first. There is also another option, which is to go for Blade of the Rune King if you're into a very tanky team. So something that looks like this could work as well. But honestly, you can actually swap out the Phantom Dancer for the Blade of the Rune King here to get it earlier, and also because Phantom Dancer is an attack speed item, and so is Blade of the Rune King. Speaking of attack speed, here we have Alacrity for attack speed. We're going to get to that. So Empowerment, aka press the attack. Obviously, after 3 attacks, you'll deal a little bit of bonus damage, as well as making the enemy take more damage from all sources. This one is really, really strong in lane, as well as in the later stages of the game. Ever since this rune got that buff that lowers the cooldown, you can proc it multiple times in team fight, so it is a pretty good like mid to late game rune as well. But of course, most efficient in the lane itself. So Brutal, because you auto attack quite a bit. Giant Slayer is obviously still the best one to take here, despite the fact that Coup de Grace did get buffed like some patches ago. And here we have Alacrity for the attack speed. Now you could also go for the Omnivamp one, because you technically do have a lot of attack speed in your build. You also do have a lot of healing in your build, so it's kind of which one you prefer. And here I have Bone Plating, of course, for the defensive capabilities. Finally, for the spells, we of course have Flash as well as Ghost. Of course, Ghost really helpful to run people down or run away from them. Exhaust also viable in situations where you need it. But with all that said, let's move on to talking about our gameplay. Okay, so now let's hop into the gameplay. Now, of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will of course be sure to address them. Okay, so now hopping into the gameplay itself. Here we are playing with a Morgana against a Leona Kalista. Now, Ashe is not too picky with her support. She works well basically with any. Of course, she does have some like specific combos. Of course, like Ashe with engagers for the arrow into engage, for example, or engage into arrow. Of course, you also have Ashe with Enchantress, works pretty well as well, because Ashe is a decent carry. Doesn't do the most damage, but is decent. So she basically works with anyone. Of course, you have the Ashe Seraphine as well, where Ashe can slow for Seraphine's E, etc. But basically, she's okay. So here you can see basically we're against an all-in lane, and we are basically a poke lane. So what we want here is obviously to poke. So Morgana should be spamming W's on them. I should be spamming W's on them as well. And basically, Leona wants to find an engage so that Kalista can go all in and kill us. Now, if this happens, if Leona gets an engage onto us, most likely either whoever gets engaged on dies, or they have to blow both summoner spells and maybe even Morgana's heal, something like that. So basically the name of the game for me and Morgana is do not get engaged on, and the name of the game for them is don't get poked and engage. So obviously we want to stick to our game plan, or we want to land some poke, of course that's what we're doing here. When Leona doesn't have her E, we can step up a little bit to just poke them a little bit more just with normal auto attacks. However, of course we do have to be mindful that Leona flash stun with her Q is also something that she could do, so we don't want to walk that close and make ourselves vulnerable here. Kalista looks like she's gone into the river to put a ward or something like that, and here we are having immaculate wave control just by keeping the lane outside of our tower and ensuring that they cannot, farm minions very easily, and if they do, they have to step up a lot. And of course, Lee Sin is not on our side of the map. He has gone for a pretty weird path where he's doing wolves as his last camp. Otherwise, this would be a prime time for a Lee Sin gank to come in. Either which way, we have the wave basically frozen here. Lee Sin could come and gank if he wants to, but he's going for the Skull Crab instead. Kalista does have the ghost thing though to kind of spot him out, which I do kind of want to get rid of. Which is what I'm trying to do here, but it basically dies by itself because it does complete its 3 revolutions. And yeah, so not too much really happening here. They do have a Gwen jungle who's very unlikely to really gank early. Now our wave is starting to slow push because of course our wave will slowly build up because they're not really able to last hit. So eventually we will have to push the wave into them. You can see we now have a decent minion advantage, and Kalista is now actually stepping up to farm. So here I'm trying to actually just push in and reset. Now the wave is going to be a pretty horrible position anyways, but we don't really want to put ourselves at that dangerous position because, really easy for Leona to engage on us and then really easy for us to die. So now we're hoping that they don't freeze the wave there. We're hoping that they push out the wave and reset as well, because now that we've reset, we kind of are forcing them to reset, because if they don't, they will be a lot weaker than us. So now, as expected, they are kind of pushing out the wave. And here, I am able to actually stop Leona. Now here they have a 2 minion advantage, including the cannon. So if we don't do anything, this wave is going to just push into us and we can try to get off another freeze. Now for some reason, Leona backs and Kalista does not. So Kalista is kind of trolling here. I'm not sure why she didn't back. She gets rooted by Morgana, gets stunned by me with the arrow, and now Morgana goes in with the ult. We're just running her down. I flash forward for the kill. She does have the barrier, but it really doesn't matter. So here now the game plan has changed, because with the Kalista dead, we can do one of two things. We can either hard shove the wave in now to her tower, but her death time is really low, so that's not very helpful. Now instead, what I'm doing is I'm letting her wave accumulate and I'm letting her wave kill our minions. So she's losing so much farm here because all of our minions are dying to the enemy wave, because the enemy wave has double cannon minion and it's getting rid of our minions real fast. So here I'm just waiting to last hit. My cannon minion dies as well. Leona doesn't get the passive golden XP. Kalista obviously doesn't get anything because she's not even in the lane. And yeah, so the minion wave is getting a little bit big, so I'm trying to thin it out a little bit because we don't want it to push all the way into our tower. We don't want it to crash, we want it to freeze. So here we're trying our best to keep the wave outside of the tower. 1 minion left, but the next minion wave is coming in, so it should be able to make it in time. There we go. And yeah, the minion wave is just stuck outside of our tower. And yeah, the whole game we're playing, kind of playing them like a fiddle, where they basically cannot farm whatsoever. They cannot engage because we're always safe. And we're getting engages of our own. I can't believe Leona didn't hit that one though. And here Yone comes in. I get the stun, he gets the knockup, and Kalista evaporates. Now we're running down the Leona, and Yone picks up a double onto the Leona as well. Now that both of them are dead, obviously now is the time to shove out. We don't want to keep it frozen here forever. We want to back and buy as well. And obviously to do that, ideally we want to just push out so that we can make them lose minions under the tower, and now we can reset and get of course our Bloodthirster components. You can see that of course we did kill Kalista twice, but mostly from denying her the minion farm. We've accrued almost 1,000 gold lead. Of course she did also lose a lot of minions just by dying itself. And now our Lee Sin is going to grab the dragon. So I'm gonna hit over here as Gwen gets the gorilla turret. We're gonna get the dragon. Leona ults me and Morgana for some reason, even though Kalista is nowhere nearby, and basically none of her teammates are anywhere nearby. It's just herself. It's not like she even tried to use the ult to steal the dragon. She literally just used the ult to stun us for no particular reason. So this is actually horrible for them, because this means Leona has so much less pressure. If she had ult, we had to respect her all that much more, because at any time she could of course ult us and go all in, and this would be of course a problem. However, because of the fact that she just used her ult, Now I don't have to respect her as much, and I can step up a little bit more. Of course, we still have to respect her EQ to go in on us, but you know, we don't have to respect it as much as if she had ult. The chain CC would be so much worse. Here we realize that they've back, so now we're just pushing in this huge minion wave. Or rather, I guess they technically didn't back. They simply just walked all the way up the tower, and they're not even trying. So I guess maybe we shouldn't have shoved in, but I kind of wanted to shove in and reset because I did have a Bloodthirster completion, and this Bloodthirster power spike is huge. So here, we have my Lee Sin all the way inside the enemy jungle, killing the enemy Gwen inside of her own jungle, which is wild. And now we're back into the lane where, of course, we have Leona as well as Kalista. Now, Morgana Black shields herself, understandably, because if I was Leona there, I might try to go in on the Morgana who's stuck against the wall. But Leona doesn't even try to pull the trigger there. Honestly, at this point, if she does, I actually think we win 2v2 against them just because I have a full item, whereas Kalista only has a Vamp Scepter item component. So I actually do think that at this point, we can actually fight them. But I'm not going to actively look for a fight because I'm not completely sure, to be honest with you guys, so I'm not going to force a fight. But if push comes to shove, I'm not afraid to fight them. And here I'm just trying to shove in the wave because this wave is at a really bad spot, so I just want to crash it into the tower and bounce the wave back towards me. And yeah, so in the meanwhile, you know, we're just chilling around, nothing too much going on. We know that the Gwen is not exactly around here. We can see Nautilus as well as Lucian pushing down the mid lane, and yeah, not too much of a concern. Now, we know that Gwen might be in this area now. Actually, there she is, right as I mentioned it, but we're gonna pop the Ghost, and Kalista gets caught by the binding into the stun, and now Gwen is getting run down. Gwen realizes she's not escaping, so she tries to turn, which is the right thing to do. Leona doesn't get the message in time though, and turns right as Gwen dies. So now Leona's gonna get run down. Now I'm actually gonna flash for her because she's only one death at this point, so she's still worth a decent amount of gold. 250 gold extra in my pocket is definitely worth it, and we end up, you know, just killing them 2v3 essentially, but they were extremely uncoordinated there because Kalista tried to start the fight a little bit too early. I think she waited an extra 1 second for Gwen. It would have been so much better for her instead of her engaging onto us before Gwen was ready to go in. Gwen was still trying to catch up, allowed us to focus her down and kill her before the Gwen even really reached, and then we're kind of just running down Gwen at that point. And Leona kind of left the Gwen for dead until she realized that she could actually try to help. But by that time, Gwen died. And now Leona's the one getting focused. So essentially, we didn't really win 2v3. We actually kind of won 2v1, 2v1, and 2v1 3 times in a row. So that's kind of horrible coordination by the enemy team. But now we have Yone here. Yone is 5-1. He's way more fed than me by like 1,000 gold. And now another binding lands, another arrow lands, and there goes the Kalista again. Beautiful catch by the Morgana. It's the 3rd time she caught the Kalista. All 3 of Kalista's, actually she died 4 times, but 3 of Kalista's deaths were from the binding hitting onto her. So nice job by my Morgana here. And here I'm just doing a little bit of counter jungling. Yone stacking up his Q onto the Krugs as well. Not too much else is happening now. I can back and buy my Runans at this point. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. No real reason to stick around over here. Nothing too much is really going to happen. We've basically taken the entire topside enemy jungle. Our jungle is all farmed. Dragon is going to be spawning momentarily. So we are going to just quickly get ourselves over there with the help of the blast plants. Yone is kind of getting a little bit caught up, but he's fine. He's going to actually just be back in here. We're just shadowing him a little bit. He should be fine. Lee Sin's coming from the opposite side of the map. So seeing as this is the case, I'm not going to run straight to the dragon because there's really no point with my jungle and my most fed member not there. So instead I'm going to actually rotate down to the bottom side to pick up this red buff. Now there is a push from Nautilus on the bottom lane, but Yone is taking care of it. And here we're taking care of the mid wave to kind of get a little bit priority here, and now we're going to go for the dragon. Nautilus Leona actually does manage to get a tower for the objective bounty, and we are able to secure the dragon in the meanwhile. So Yone obviously is going to have a simple time 2v1ing the Nautilus and the Leona because it's 2 tanks with very low damage into a Yone who has the Bork. So here again, I'm not sure what this guy is doing, so I'm just gonna land my arrow on him into the Morgana route into death. Yeah, he can't disrespect us like that. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's 0-4. Yeah, he just chooses to walk right in front of us. Now here Gwen gets caught by the binding, but has the Hallowed Mist to basically prevent us from doing any kind of meaningful damage to her at all, or really any damage at all from any of us, really. So really broken ability is that W. I'm not even gonna say she used it well because it's kind of so obvious that you should W there that if she didn't, she would be trolling. So yeah, I'm not even gonna say that was a really good W. It's just how the champion works. So unfortunately, we don't quite get the kill on Gwen. I actually think that if she wasn't a Gwen, if she didn't have W, I actually think we kill her there because we have Morgana, myself, and I believe it was the Zyra. Like, we have more than enough damage to kill her. I mean, Zyra doesn't have any damage because she has Rylai's and she has anti-heal, but I'm there. I have more than enough damage to kill her. Together with Zyra, slow, and Morgana. Also having a Rylai's slow, she ain't getting away, so we are definitely going to be able to easily kill her there. So now we're going to rotate back to mid. Now, pings are coming out to do Baron, but our issue is that our jungle is on the wrong side of the map. So my Yone realizes this. He is going to go back to base because no real reason to waste time sticking around here. Now, I'm hitting into the jungle to get vision, as well as to remove this pesky fairy object. And here we have Nautilus farming the Grump for some reason, even though he's full tank and shouldn't be stealing farm. So here we're starting out the Baron. Leona goes in, stuns the Lee Sin. Gwen is now trying to come in. So here we're just trying to stop Gwen. Lee Sin kicks the Gwen away. And I'm trying to finish the Baron now that Gwen's not here. But Lee Sin is not really having it. So here we finally get rid of the actual threat on the turn. And then we get the Baron. I spot Kalista again. Gonna just quickly ult her for the stun, finish her off. Yeah, she is now 0 and 6 at this point. Not really worth that much gold anymore, just a little bit more than a minion. Now Yone here goes ham, goes all the way in onto Lucian, but gets cut out by Lucian. I'm just going to flash for the kill here because he just reset his bounty with that kill on Yone. So 300 gold in my pocket, definitely a good deal. And now we're going to just quickly get the mid lane tower. Now Nautilus is the only person alive, but he's on the wrong side of the map. But obviously we can't end here because we have a couple of people who will be respawning, but we can definitely get the mid in hit. I was considering taking the wolves here, but not too much of a point, to be honest. We're just going to quickly reset and get our items and then get back on the map. So we have the Baron, or rather the Mecha, actually pushing in the top lane and is trying to ping for assistance. And here we already have mid lane, so no real reason to push that. So we should either push bot lane or try to help the Mecha at top. Now I'm like trying to go help the Mecha at top, but I get distracted by this Kalista, who basically is a free kill at this point. I'm just going to slow her with the W, and then I'm just going to run her down. You can see, like, I basically kill her in, like, 5 auto attacks, and as an Ashe, 5 auto attacks is really little to kill someone. And now I'm going to rotate. Now here, the Mecha basically gets ganged up upon, and Zyra just dies. Now my Morgana also kind of makes a mistake. She goes in before me and Yone are really ready, because me and Yone are trying to get rid of the Lucian here. So my Morgana dies, and now I get engaged on by Leona, but it's not too big of a problem. Me and Yone have so much damage, we're easily going to be able to get rid of these two people. I go legendary at this point, and I'm still like 500 gold behind the Yone, but you can see Lee Sin has the same amount of gold as me. Yone has 13k gold, and we are really far ahead of the enemy team as a team, like 10k gold ahead at this point. We get another tower here. Yone is now focusing the Nexus. I'm just going to go help him out here to finish the game because, at this point, Nautilus wrong side of the map. Kalista can't stop us, and we end the game right then and there. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.